Second beta test episode. This time we're doing, as you can see by the poster, Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn. I'm back again with my father, Jerry. It's me, Daniel Seymour, and I'm back with my father, Jerry Seymour. Say hi, Dad.
Hello. You got it? What happened?
I literally just disconnected my mic. Uh, I'm gonna blame that on the cat again. So let's. I guess. Where do you want to start with this one?
Well, we go back to drive-in. We went to the drive-in,
Oh yeah,
and
this was the same night we saw Evil Dead 1, and I actually forgot to say something on the last episode. When I talked about the people bringing children to the thing, I didn't mean like teenagers. I meant like children. Uh, I overheard, I think during the first movie it was, somebody saying that they were going to turn on Toy Story 4 for their kids, uh, which I found pretty funny. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird experience with that, I thought.
yeah, the Evil Dead is a gross film, especially for children.
Mhm.
And
Well, they're both. I mean, they're rated R. The first one's rated NC-17, and the second one rated R. So it's not like.
yeah,
And I think it's one of those things where everybody that went there, for the most part, wasn't going in blind.
yes,
I guess you did, but I'd seen both these movies before. Most of the people seemed like they'd seen both the movies before, so it was just kind of. I mean, it was kind of surreal to hear we're gonna put on Toy Story 4 with nothing against Toy Story 4. It's a great movie, but you probably shouldn't hear that during an Evil Dead showing or any R-rated movie showing.
yeah,
Uh, okay, so I guess we'll start off by the movie. I think this movie does something really interesting at first, in which it recaps the first film a bit. uh, I don't know. Like, I think this is really the only movie I've ever seen that done, in which it kind of like it reshows a lot of the parts of the first film, albeit it cuts it down a lot. I shouldn't say it shows new footage of the first film. You know what I'm
yes,
talking about? Like they show him with his girlfriend. I think it adds in. I don't believe there was a piano in the first movie, but it adds in that, which gets used later on. Uh,
and well, it starts off exactly as the old movie.
mhm.
The first movie, it starts off by him and his girlfriend driving up to the cabin. Now, the first movie started out with four of them driving up to the cabin.
I think five actually,
Yeah,
because I think it
five,
was
yeah,
two guys and three girls, but that's
yeah.
neither here nor there. Yeah, it doesn't show the other people, which I don't know. I just found that an interesting way to start the movie.
But they start off with the guy and the girlfriend as they drive up the cabin, which basically is the same. And he produces the same eerie, scary drive like he did the previous time.
Yeah, they show the bridge, albeit I think it's a different bridge. But they kind of show like some of the things like him cutting off his girlfriend's head. They don't really show anything with other characters, obviously, because it's just him and his girlfriend. The necklace and other big things from the first movie. But then it gets right into the original ending, which has whatever the monster is, the entity or whatever attacking him. It gets right into that.
Yeah, and it's called out the same way as in the last movie with the playing of the tape.
Yeah,
And in fact, the story is exactly the same that the guy starts off with on the tape, and then they play the tape.
yeah, they play the tape. Um, I was gonna say, this time it obviously starts off with Ash, Bruce Campbell's character alone, which I wanted to kind of talk about him some because in this movie he gets, I don't know if it's a much, I guess much more of a role. He gets to show a lot more of his personality, and he's really charismatic. He does a good job, I think, at it. I guess that's kind of obvious since he's kind of a iconic character, but uh, I, I I think he does a really good job throughout the film in helping the tone of the film as it kind of wanes between the horror and the comedy a lot.
This movie is specifically on him, and he's the main character. Whereas the previous movie, he only became a main character at the end.
Yeah, it was kind of with all of them spread out. This one he obviously starts off with him. They do have another group that comes to the cabin, the daughter of the guy that originally found it, and she has like her boyfriend and some other people with them. So they have more victims or more people in it, but it's primarily on Bruce Campbell in this one, which is interesting for uh, a horror movie at least.
And I mean, there's several things. Same cabin as before,
Yeah.
same trap door,
Hmm.
uh, same chain around the trap door, which is sort of unusual.
Yeah.
And but I think he uses the trap door. They actually don't go down in the basement in the second one, does
Well,
he? He just
he
puts
does
the
towards the end to get the
yeah,
pages back.
yeah,
Like you actually learn what made the mysterious noise in the last one, and it's this big gross monster uh, in it. So they actually kind of address that, which I thought was interesting because they do seem to address a lot of the stuff from the original. Almost everything in the original gets called back to the trees, the shotgun, the chainsaw. Um,
yeah.
Specifically on that, it does a lot of callbacks to the original in general. I mean, I think for I mean, it takes place obviously at the same place, but I think they use the place a lot better this time.
Yes. And
Uh,
in fact, I think they do the trapdoor scenes
yeah,
with the monster down on much more scarier and realistic
yeah.
than the previous scene.
Hmm. I mean, in this one, you also kind of had the threat that while it couldn't get out, it could still reach out and grab you, which it actually does at one point to the one guy, which I thought was interesting. Uh huh. But I mean, I think one of the things, I mean, this we mentioned before, but while we said the first movie had a degree of black comedy in this one has a
Yeah.
lot more regular comedy. It's very slapstick.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of implement it well as it kind of builds up and builds up as it gets more and more
Mhm.
unusual and bizarre.
Yeah.
Uh,
The I mean, the themes are stay the same. Only I think they do a better job. Like the bridge is out
mhm.
in both movies, so they can't get back. But this one, they actually show the bridge being out,
Mhm.
and it's sort of a cartoonish bridge out.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I thought they used miniatures when they crossed the bridge this time. It looked like at least.
Yeah.
And this time it literally looks like something like not just a broken bridge, like something like tore up the thing and rolled it back almost.
Yes.
I
Like it
mean,
sort of exploded.
obviously this movie has a much higher budget. It has a budget, I think it's fair to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
compared to the last one. But mhm. it it has a different tone. It starts off way more offbeat than the original. Uh,
Yeah.
you have what is a fair amount of actually really good special effects work in the movie.
Yes.
I thought that still works really well today. I mean, it starts off with kind of a cool. One of the early things in the movie is you kind of have a stop motion scene of a dance. I'm assuming it's stop motion with his girlfriend's body coming back headless and dancing. Uh, then obviously, probably one of the most famous parts is you have the hand that's walking around and running around in it that looks really good
Mhm.
throughout the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. He's fight. He cuts off his own hand, and then he fights it,
Well,
and
he
that's
fights it.
just
He fights it, and then he cuts it off, and then he fights it again.
yeah.
And the thing is, like those scenes are like they're actually somewhat tense
Yeah.
in it, because at that point they introduced a new group of characters coming to the cabin. They haven't arrived yet, but then you have like the scene shortly after that of him like laughing, and the whole cabin's laughing with him.
Yeah.
And it's a good scene because it managed to be pretty funny, but also really creepy at the same time. I think
Yes.
because
Hmm.
that's one of my favorite scenes in it, just because of that. But it also like in this one you get far more that the whole place is kind of there to get you
Yeah.
compared to just the Deadites. Because I mean, you have things in the cabin that move on their own. The piano starts. The cabin itself bleeds at one point.
And I think the hand is the interesting thing because the hand almost becomes once he cuts it off, it almost becomes a character in itself.
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot with the hand, I think. Well, they do a lot even before it cuts off, but without it.
Yeah.
Because I guess it doesn't appear too much in the movie, but it appears just enough. 'Cause it appears, it kind of runs away. It even flicks him off
Yes.
after he laughs at it for getting stuck in a mouse trap. um,
And it's really good slapstick.
yeah, and yeah, it's getting kind of hard to, without describing it, to just talk about when like good slapstick
Yeah.
on it. But uh, obviously, like early on, he gets his hand bit by his girlfriend's head, and there's a whole
Mhm.
scene with him trying to get it off that works really well.
Yeah.
A couple other of it.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
let's see. Uh,
mhm.
what else was I gonna say? Um, but
the
yeah, go ahead.
as I said, the book in this one also comes into play both at the beginning and the end, just like in the first one.
Yeah,
The book starts off, actually, the book plays more of a part because the girl shows up, the daughter of the
cabin
uh,
owner.
cabin owner, of the scientist who found the book, shows up with the book in this one. And in the first one, he ends the story by burning the book.
Hmm.
In this one, they end the story by the girl doing a chant out of the book
Yeah,
to get rid of the evilness.
well, she brought brings new pages that
Yeah.
does that, and you have that whole scene, ending kind of fight because they have to summon a greater evil, and
Yes.
they have the thing in the basement finally gets out.
Yes.
Uh, which I mean, again, I thought like a lot of the stuff with the basement in this was really well done. Like in the first one, you get a point of view from the basement the whole time. They continue having the thing somewhat broken, so like this time, like the I forget what its name is, but the creature in the basement reaches out and grabs somebody and pulls them in,
Hmm.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, you have the trees back. You have the fact they can't leave.
Hmm.
Uh, I think this time they gave kind of the new group of people that come. They gave them a bit more personality.
Yes.
I mean, they were obviously more jokey and slapsticky too, but I thought that kind of made them a bit more endearing.
Yeah.
Uh, they they actually I think react fairly realistic after uh, he kind of shoots at them.
Yes.
Uh, he he thinks there's something outside, or is his hand, uh, or his hand. It's his hand, and he shoots, and he actually wounds one, and they kind of come in and take him down for it,
Hmm.
and they don't really believe him. They think he's just crazy at first, and then obviously stuff begins to happen, and it gets
Yes.
more and more. Well,
Hmm.
everything gets more and more distorted and trashed in it
Yeah.
as it goes on. Uh,
And the Ash plays the main character throughout the whole thing, even when the new people show up.
yeah.
I mean, it's Ash's uh,
Hmm.
with the daughter that carries the rest of the movie through.
Yeah, and I think I think like for something that's a horror comedy and plays with tones as much as it does,
Yeah.
like having Bruce Campbell's the guy who plays Ash. I think I've said that a few times. But I think him, as well as like the director are key to it, the main character and key, and I think he pulls it off almost perfectly.
Yes.
He has the charm to do it. He's good at the slapstick. Uh, and he's and you can tell throughout the movie he's going kind of more and more nuts
Yes.
as it progresses.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And the yeah. And they come in. It's the daughter with the guide,
Yeah,
and
they need to get a guide because the bridge is out. The guide's
yeah,
girlfriend and I believe the daughter's husband or boyfriend.
Yeah.
one of the two. They come in maybe about at the third way mark of the movie, and
Yeah.
are and kind of act as the victim slash other people working with Ash to escape
Yeah.
or stop this
Hmm.
throughout it.
And there's sort of a subplot with the guy and the girlfriend. Uh, like in the first movie, the girlfriend runs out of the house and is disappears.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember? Yeah, she gets attacked by the trees, and you don't see her again.
Yes.
I don't know if she appears in the third one. I haven't seen the third one, but
Yeah.
yeah, and somebody gets obviously grabbed.
Yeah.
You have the return of the hand
Yeah.
later on for it, without trying to spoil everything that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because you kind of lost it at, is the very ending of the movie.
Mhm.
Um, the way the movie ends, it's pretty spectacular. They kind of they get the they in order to get rid of the evil, they first have to summon a greater evil. So they do that. They summon it. They open up the portal to get rid of it, but they can't close the portal. So everything's just getting sucked in, including Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
And then he falls into medieval times, and he shoots something down, and they think he's a god. Well, I
Yes.
think they think he's some kind of great hero,
Yes.
and he's just not having any of it. He just wants. He just is exhausted.
Yeah. The ending sort of remind me somewhat of the guys writing up. It somewhat looked like Mighty Parthon and the Holy Grail. They were that kind of medieval
Yeah,
character,
I kind of got the
sort of
same.
cartoonish medieval
Yeah, it
character.
was kind of in a cartoonish evil thing. He obviously shoots down
Yeah.
I believe it's again stop motion gargoyle thing.
Yeah.
Uh, in a, like one of the movies we actually saw at the drive-in was Monty Python's and the Holy Grail, so we saw it recently. And I do wonder if that was a vibe he was kind of trying to go for or a reference,
Yes.
or just they had the same, or just what was left in the budget.
Yes.
Uh, Not to like speak. I know I've mentioned the budget a few times. All the effects in this movie look really good.
Yes.
Uh, the hand in particular, the monster makeup coming up, the chainsaw, all of it look really well and are really well done.
Yeah. Well, the makeup in both movies is really well done.
Yeah,
I think.
but in the first movie, it clearly didn't have much of a budget,
Yes.
and this one it clearly had a budget.
Yes.
And I don't think that's, and I think again, that's to the director's credit is they know how to shoot the stuff and raise the money and
Yeah.
get the right makeup artist
Yes.
in it. And it was still done in creepy. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, you could see the improvement from one to the next,
Yeah.
but you can also see uh, his underlying talent
Yeah.
as director.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, I don't know if this is the second movie he made or third, or he could. I don't know if he made any in between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, but it is an improvement of a director. I think the guy improved. Bruce Campbell improved as an actor.
Oh, certainly, yes.
Uh, so you have all that. I mean, I think there's a good reason why it's a cult movie and considered to be one of the best sequels of all time. Um, I mean, I do want to say I did think it was a much better movie than the original. I thought the original was a pretty good movie too.
Yes.
So I definitely like if you get a chance to go see this one in theaters, recommend it. Also, I don't know, they might be playing it some in Halloween or
Yeah.
uh, okay.
Okay.
I think yeah. Our next review we're gonna do is on Alone, which we saw last week at again the drive-in, and which is the first movie we'll be doing that where we both went in totally blind, and then the next one is Unhinged, which is the first movie we saw in theaters actually in a
Yeah.
long time. So look forward to those, and of course if you're watching YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. And if you're on Twitch, subscribe also. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.
Uh,